lighting. It's just what it is, okay? We work with what we've been given, all right? Righty ho. So today I want to talk about those things that I wish I knew that you should know at every and any age. And for those of you who are, hello, Instagram. I'm on YouTube as well. Instagram is way more responsive. Let's see. All right. How are you, my darling? Good morning. Hello, hello. So for those of you watching on Instagram, please be reminded and please know that I won't be saving this live on here. I will save it on YouTube. Okay, so it will be one of my live videos on YouTube. All right, because Instagram does not like long form content and always makes me pay for it if I post. It really limits my reach, so we're not going to do that. So if you're on this live, stay on it. Okay, but what I want to do today, and maybe share two things because I came on a little bit late trying to organize myself. I'm going to share two things on this topic, but I want to open up for questions. So if you've got any questions that you want me to answer, I want to make sure that I really give you all an opportunity to ask your questions. All right. So we got to number 6. Number 7, energy reads more than action. I used to think that if you just did all the right things, especially when I was younger, and I hear this a lot from you girls, but I didn't call him, I didn't chase him, I didn't do a million and one things. So if I didn't do any of that, why is he still behaving this way? But Chengi, I didn't chase, I didn't call, I didn't do you did all the high value things, but for whatever reason, you still didn't win, okay? Because energy reads more than action or words. The most powerful frequency comes from your heart. Your heart, this is why the Bible says, God, your heart, for from it flow the issues of life. From it flows the issues of life. In all spirituality, regardless of where you are with your religion or your spirituality, if you are into, certain spiritualities, they'll talk about the heart chakra, or the heart is the most powerful energy signature. The heart flows life. So if you are obsessing over him, if you can't get him out of your head, if you think about him night and day and night, if you have fallen for him from a hard place, it honestly doesn't matter what you do or what you say. This is why when you girls get on a call with me or one of my coaches, we have to do that inner work. That work where we teach you how to condition what's happening in your heart. Your heart is the number one frequency that goes out into the world. Your heart magnetizes everything to you. Your heart is where your energy flows. So when somebody walks into the room, what you read is their heart. You know, that feeling of, I don't like that girl. I mean, she hasn't done anything to me, but I don't like her. You're reading heart, energy. Too many of us have terrible attachments. We attach very quickly to a man who has not yet proved himself to be worthy of us. And because of that, we send out that frequency that I choose you, even though there's no reason for me to choose you. Even though you've done everything for me not to choose you, I choose you anyway. And that is a frequency that makes men run. Why? Because a man wants to be chosen for who he is. He doesn't want to be chosen for the peripheral, for the dinner he took you on or the experience that he's giving you. He wants to be chosen for who he is. So if you're one of those women who are so energetically connected to a man very quickly, and you do not manage your own energy because trauma is making you like a city without walls, okay? Your your conditioning has made you a city without walls. I have girls in my DMs all the time talking about how deeply hurt they are, and I feel you and I hear you. But please understand that it's not the man that has broken you. It's not the man. You already came into that dynamic with brokenness that you did not resolve, that you're afraid to look at, that you're afraid to address. And as a result of that brokenness, you are sending out an energy signature that says, you can come break me, you can disappoint me, okay? And you're attaching to people that will hurt you and disappoint you. Energy, we date energetically. I remember I was on BBC one time, and the girls was like, Chengi, what's going on? The dating scene is gone crazy. And what I was saying is, indeed, a lot of things have gone crazy, but the only people that are going to succeed, the only people that are going to really, truly win the the love lottery, if you like, it's not really that lottery. It's not that hard. It's just you need to understand the psychology of dating, the psychology of men, the psychology and the spirituality. Spirituality equals psychology and the biology, all of the components that make love happen in a way that is as predictable as breathing. Okay, it's about an education. So whilst it might feel like, oh, I don't get lucky, you just don't know, you're just ignorant, and you are wanting to stay that way, because if you can go join the House of Swans for free and learn something, you should. Okay, you should want to do that. But if you're not doing that, that's because you are comfortable in your ignorance. And ignorance is an energy signature that calls forth foolishness. Suddenly when it comes to men, okay, and in relationships. So I was saying to the host of the BBC radio show that we are all gonna have to learn how to date from an energetic, a spiritual perspective. That means we've got to heal the issues of the soul. Okay, we've got to get into the soul. So if you're hearing me talk about healing a lot and all the things, it's because if we don't do that healing work, it will send out a vibrational frequency that will keep calling forth the situations that keep recurring in your life. It will keep calling the mates, the people that are in alignment with the pattern of whatever the wound is. We've got to heal the soul, because the spirit man is perfectly fine. You are perfectly lovable. You're perfectly beautiful. There's nothing wrong with you. God has made you in his image and in his likeness. You're beautiful. If you're saved and born again, you are restored to your original intention. You are a new creation. You look like God. Fantastic. All the good things that the Christian faith teaches us for those who are Christian. But ultimately, the spirit is fine, doing good. Spirit has got good self-esteem. It's the soul. The soul is what is vibrating at such a frequency that it's blocking the spirit. But we don't understand that, especially in romantic relationships, we are communicating with men energetically. A man just knows. I was talking to concierge downstairs, and we always have a bit of a chit chat, which is really nice. And I've just kind of come into the building, and he said to me, when I saw you, I met a woman who has power and confidence, knows who she is, and makes a man have to think twice before he does all the things. And I kind of smiled and laughed, and I thought, that's rather insightful. But he was like, we can tell. We can just tell who you are. And this I know about men. He read my energy before I even opened my mouth to talk. Men are reading your energy, and you're reading theirs, by the way. You're just ignoring it because you want love so badly that you are ignoring the energy a man has. Because women have become so unloved. We're lacking that oxytocin. We're lacking that the good hormones, that those oxytocin bond that makes us feel softer, loved, and cared for, because we're not dating. We're too busy being angry at men. We're too busy calling them trash. We're too busy doing that instead of actually doing the work. Okay, here's what we need to understand. There are men that are absolute trash. But if the law of the universe, the way God created it, is that there is always night and day, sun and moon. There's always the polarity exists in the world. If there are men that are trash to the same degree and to the same velocity, these men, they're good men. They have to be. If the sun exists, the moon must exist. If night exists, day must exist. So if your only experience of men is that they're trash, they play you, they da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, you are stuck in a vibrational frequency. You are stuck at that polarity. Because if we're going to sit down and be honest, we do see women that are treated with love, respect, and cherished and treated well and all the things. So men can't just be trash. To the degree of your beliefs, and your beliefs are founded on trauma, on conditioning, on programming. And your belief will create your reality. There's no actual reality except the one you create for yourself. And within your reality, you will attract people that exist within your reality. You will attract, if all men are trash, then you are going to have trashy friends and have trashy mindsets, trashy vocabulary, and attract trashy men. This is the law of the universe. This is the law of creation. This is the law that God, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And God says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is his reality. As a woman thinks in her heart, so is her reality. Some of you are being offered, have never ever been taken on a date and had a man pay because he wanted to. You have to fight these men when you get to the restaurant. Like, you're paying, I said you're paying. Like, you have to behave like the lost sheep of Israel on a date because you've never had that experience. And some of us never have to think about the bill. So your reality cannot be the reality. There are women that get proposed to so many times that they have to say, look, I don't want to marry you. We've heard it. We've seen it. We've had women who've been proposed to 3-4 times and they refused. So there are women who are getting married. There are men out here who are trying to marry. And my job is to bring you into the right frequency, right? So I want you to understand that energetically, energy does not lie. Energy is the most powerful frequency. And the only way you're going to fix your energy is to do that healing work. You can start with a mini healing course on my website. It's on School. It's free. Go to the link in my bio. Go to the description link on YouTube. It's free. You can start with that. Even that will give you such a massive shift in your energy. You've got to want to do it, ladies. You've got to want it for yourself, because you can do everything I tell you not to do. You cannot text. You can do all the things. You will get some results, yes, but you won't be able to sustain them, and they won't be long lasting, because if I knew this in my 20s, I would have done the work in my 20s. I would have done it. Whatever age you are, if you want a different love story from the one your mother had, your aunties had, the women in your life have, you are going to have to do what they never did. And that is invest in your healing. That is begin to understand your unconscious stories. Because that energy read, that energy signature is what is going out into the world and calling these bozos that are causing your heart to be broken, okay? Or great guys that then run away from you, okay? Good. So I want you to know that your energy matters and there's no getting away from that. And I want you to ask questions, so I'm not going to do more than one more, okay? The next one is, I wish I'd known this and didn't break as many walls and put as many holes in the walls as I did when I was way younger. Drama is not a boundary. This is something that I wish I could stand on a mountaintop and scream. Drama is not a boundary. Women have got so used to, so accustomed to drama. I told him about himself. I didn't call. I blocked and deleted. All this drama. What? Do you know what drama makes a man think? She's just that into me. She's just so into me that she's going crazy. Some men even seek out the drama. because for them it's become a sign of how into them you are. We don't need the drama. I had one of the girls in the House of Swans saying, and I'm going there right after, by the way. So if you're smart, you're going to go join the House of Swans and I'll see you in there, okay? So I was talking to one of the girls and she was like, oh, this guy, he's not been consistent. I'm not going on a date with him. I'm going to cancel the date. Drama, 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 drama. Why are you going to cancel the date? What's going on? What's going on here, girl? Open your mouth. Communicate your needs. Get yourself pretty. You know you want to go on that day, so stop pretending, okay? You know you want to go. You know he's fine. You know you like him. But guess what? We have been conditioned by modern society to crave drama, to think that as if we bring the drama to a man's door, he's going to behave. I want to meet a woman who brings drama to a man's door and he behaves. Find me that woman. Find me a woman in your life that always brings the drama and the man behaves. At the very most, a woman that brings drama to a man perpetually, he shuts her out of his emotional life. Drama cannot change a man. Boundaries do. And I've spoken about boundaries in this series. Go to YouTube, go to the very first or second videos that I've done, okay? And learn about how to set boundaries. The most important thing that I wish I knew when I was 20, 30, good Lord. And I want you to know right now, at whatever age you're watching this. Catch yourself before the drama begins. Ask yourself, girl, can you communicate this in a way that is dignified, elegant, gracious? If you cannot, you are just bringing drama. You're just creating drama. Some of us are drama addicts. We will even create a situation and a circumstance where we can be dramatic. And then we have friends that are dramatic. And then we sit down at the girly parties and are dramatic. We're like with the other girls and we're like, yeah, these men. Listen, you're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. You're playing your destiny. You're playing your future, because any man that thrives in your drama is not a healthy man. Any man that brings drama is not a healthy man. A healthy man not only will bring peace, not only provide peace, not only give peace, he will only expect it from you. And it is the one thing he's going to test for. You probably don't even know that you bring the drama because you act out of hurt. You act out of intense hurt. I had to say to this young lady in the House of Swans, look, consistency, we hop on about it. I want consistency. I want consistency. I want consistency. I want consistency. Consistency. Fine. Great. Me too. I want consistency. Okay. But because you don't have an education and you don't understand men, you require consistency from a guy you just met. You haven't even gone on a first date, but because he was texting you every morning, he must not text you every morning for the next 6 months. He doesn't know you. Consistency is what men give to women that they want to stay with. Consistency is a job for a man. To him, it's a job. He has to remember to be consistent. And he's only going to apply that much effort, okay, to a woman that he is committing to. Or a woman he knows is way head and shoulders above every other woman he's dating, and he cannot afford to lose her. The rest of us, okay, and that can be anything for anyone. I could be dating a man who has somebody better than me. I'm not delusional. I don't believe that I am the best thing that a man is ever gonna ever have. I do believe that if a man has me, he's found a prize. Okay, he's found a good thing, because I know what I bring to a relationship. but I am not the best thing for every man. So if he's not being consistent with me, that's data. It's not an opportunity for me to create chaos. It's not an opportunity for me to start bringing drama, making demands. The only man you can justifiably, hand on heart, expect commitment from and be rightfully upset in a high value way is a man who has made a commitment to being with you exclusively, monogamously. If that man has not said to you, I want you to be my girlfriend, I want you to be my fiance, I want you to be my wife, because commitment looks different for every single one of us, okay? If he has not made that very, very, very clear, you have no right to expect consistency. You should be dating other people. You should be entertaining other people. But instead of dating other people, instead of recognizing that I actually don't have a right to this level of consistency because that belongs to his girlfriend, his fiance, his wife, we create drama. We start sending text messages. I really value consistency. Drama. And this is the problem, is we don't always know that we are bringing in the chaos or the drama, because as women, we have sadly been conditioned to have an entitlement mindset. We have been taught that being entitled to anything a man does and gives is our right. And men are awakening to their value and their worth because, can I just be honest? For ages, men were either players, time wasters, or endurers. They just endured the woman's want, need, and desire just so they could have sexual access. For ages, a man's reality was you endure a woman's emotion, you prioritize her emotion, you put everything she wants at the center, and you may perhaps secure sexual and sensual stability. And that worked for a generation of men who have that level of power and control. And us as women, we went through our emancipation. We went through our women's lib. We went through our season, and we spoke our minds, and we rightfully so. We were oppressed for so long. Our needs were not met, and we went in full throttle. And we told these men what time it is. We don't need you. I'm independent. I got my money. You don't need... And we all danced to all the tunes, We were loving it. We were loving the emancipation. Now we have our own money. We have that freedom. Great. So we can talk to you crazy. We can tell you about yourself. We can tell you about yourself because we know we don't need you. But we thought that men would still endure. We thought that men would still stick around and do what they'd done for time and eternity. We thought that men would just sit it out. Okay, because even though we're successful, even though we're mouthy, even though we're rude, even though we were taking our power back, woohoo, girls allowed, girls, Spice Girls, whatever movements we had, we thought they were just going to sit it out like men of old. And then we got a rude awakening, right? We got a rude awakening through the red pill. And then we realized, geez, men have emotions. Men care about what we say. Then we shamed them. We thought, right, we're going to shame you into being what you always were. These stoic statues that just prioritize the woman's feelings and emotions. So we thought, right, we're going to shame you. We're going to call you gay. We're going to do all the things. And where did that get us? I'll tell you where it got us. It got us to this moment where we don't have changed men. Well, we actually have ashamed men and angry men and men who don't want to know no more. Men who no longer want to marry. That's what we have. I want to tell you that things are different, but those guys that want to marry, those that didn't participate, they're like, okay, all right. If you're going to be my woman, you're not going to bring that to my table. No. Because guess what? I've got the house, I've got the car, I've got the money, I've got the resources. And guess what? I know my brothers are out here struggling to pay for a date, but I got it. And I will not take your crap no more. I won't take your drama. I won't take your chaos. I won't take your rudeness. And because it's mainly what women had, it's what our aunties and our mommies passed down. We are now lost. And God forbid you get a woman like me telling you, girls, learn the art of respect. Learn it. It's a skill. All of a sudden, everybody wants to go do sprinkle, sprinkle. Go do sprinkle, sprinkle. You want to go do black cat and golden retriever, go do that. Go jump on some freaking bandwagon, okay? Because it's trendy and it sounds good and it's in alignment with the stuff we were told. And I'm not saying all of those things are wrong. I'm not saying there's no truth in some of that. But I'm saying that what I'm saying to you, it's not popular. But it's what works. It's what gets a man to choose you. Because guess what? The men that we're all out here losing sleep over, they have options. That's right. Greg said, many women don't realize a man doesn't need you here once he wants you. There's a high difference. Yeah. Because when that man has accomplished those things, he had to break his back to become a provider. He had to fight his own demons to become a competent and capable provider. Now that he's got to the top of the mountain, why does he have to tolerate your BS? Because guess what? At the top of the mountain, a whole different breed of women. Women who know the art of respect. Let me tell you something. All of these footballers' wives and all the things, and you're watching these girls, and they look like baddies, okay? Coming out of big cars, and they look like nobody can tell them nothing. Let me tell you something. When they close those doors, that man gets the utmost. He gets the utmost. Don't let women deceive you. It's another thing as well, because we lie to each other, and I'm so sad that we do this, but we do. We lie to each other. We put on a front. We tell each other, I don't take any of that nonsense, but you go home and take it. And now you've left these women thinking that you don't take that nonsense. It's a lie, because we do that to each other. Trust and believe. I've been doing this for such a long time. Women are the biggest saboteurs of each other's love lives. Some girl asked me, why are all these men marrying strippers? Why are all these men marrying strippers? She's a stripper in public, but she's a respectful, virtuous, high-value woman in private. She's not going to just let him sleep with her. She's not just going to disrespect him. She knows how to call him daddy. She knows how to make him feel like the king of the world. And she'll tell him, I'm just paying my college fund, but I'm a whole celibate girl. I have had calls with strippers who've been wanting to sort out their love lives. I am not advocating. I'm not advocating for this lifestyle, by the way. I'm just saying that I've spoken to over 7,000. I can't count the number of conversations I've had with women all over the world. And I've spoken to every type of woman, from side chick to wife of number 5, wife of 10. I've spoken to all sorts of women. So I'm not just talking out of my bottom. I'm talking out of experience. I've been doing this for over a decade and professionally. But beyond that, before that, I was still doing it. Okay, so I'm not just talking from some book. I'm telling you what I know. And these stripper girls will be celibate. They're stripping, but they're not sleeping. They do it to pay their college fund or whatever they're doing, and they're able to sell that story to a man who is capable of taking them out of that life. He gets to feel like a hero. But when she's home with him, when she's with him, treats him with the utmost. And then some of us church girls, we be going to church, but we're rude. We're rude and disrespectful. We want him to know I can do all by myself. We got point making, okay? Listen, I'm not here advocating for men. I'm advocating for love. I'm advocating for relationships. I'm advocating for what actually works. And let me tell you something. The things in life that work are the hardest things to do. They're going to take the most out of you. We know this to be true about every area of life. You want a body that's healthy and works, you're going to have to lift some weight. You're going to have to hit the gym. You're going to have to do stuff that's very, very uncomfortable for a very, 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 very long time. You're going to have to eat things you don't want to eat. You want to get a job, a really, 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 really great job, you're going to have to go to school. You're going to have school for a very, 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 very long time. You're going to have to compete. You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to put in the hours. We are prepared to do that for everything but relationships. We're prepared to do that for everyone, but for relationships. And we're going to find a whole bunch of philosophies. You know, when we don't like to hear something, we just go find somebody who's going to tell us what we want to hear. But then women, we have a problem. We have a real problem. Is that age happens to us. It doesn't happen to men in the same way. Men become more successful. They become sexier. 40 up, they're getting established in their money. They're becoming desirable. It's not the same for us. We're going to have to work twice as hard to stay as desirable as we used to be. So we waste those good years chasing somebody who's going to tell us something we want to hear, who's going to tell us black cat energy. Again, I'm not saying anything about that creator. She's fantastic, brilliant. But we want that. The reality is you're going to have to heal. You're going to have to deal with your mouth. You're going to have to deal with your attitude. You're going to have to deal with your energetic vibrational frequency if you want to be a winner in the game of love. Don't play with me. I've got a wedding in Dallas. I got weddings I'm invited to. I don't have a problem getting my girls married. I don't. So don't play with me. And they're not marrying crappy guys. They're marrying the men that we're sitting here trying to meet. I'm not playing with you. People be like, but are you married? Baby, sweetie. Jesus said, when John the Baptist came to Jesus and said, are you still the one? He said, look at my works. Go look at my works and tell me if I'm the one. Look at my brides. Look at my couples. Look at my success stories. I don't need to prove myself. I don't need to be married. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you how to land a big fish. And the way to it, my darlings, don't worry about Mama Swan. Mama Swan don't have a man problem. Trust and believe. All right? So drama is not a boundary. And we need to be done with that whole way of thinking. Righty. Said what I said. Chengi's telling the truth, said Rachel. Thank you, darling. You know, Rachel would know. She's getting married soon. She's one of my girls. And she would know. I just dish it out straight and clean, girls, because guess what? We live in a world where lies sell and the truth, nobody wants to tell the truth. So I'm here. I'm going to tell you the truth. Because it's what's going to set you free. So let's have those questions. Let's have those questions. I'm going to be in the House of Swans in a few minutes answering questions. Who's got questions about that? Comments? I think I saw a comment here. Let's see. What's the problem with providers? Older generations are all providers. My father, grandfather, and brother too. Again, what's wrong with this? Nothing wrong with it. I'm not sure what that question is pointing to, my love. In my culture, nobody wants to marry a dancer. Men and their families are judgmental. They don't respect the profession. I decided to marry outside my country, maybe in the UK, but not in Asia. Look, I don't think there's a man out there who's thinking, right, I'm going to go get me a dancer and marry her. To be fair, men don't even fall in love on purpose. That's one thing women don't understand. Men don't fall in love on purpose. It's all very much a big old accident. Men fall in love by accident. That's why when I talk to girls and they're like, oh, he just wants to get laid. Of course he does. Men hunt sex and fall in love along the way. Women hunt love and give their bodies along the way. So if a man wants to sleep with you and you're going on and on about it as if there's something wrong with that, then you clearly don't know how to use that energy coming towards you. You need to be able to master it to get him to fall emotionally through his sexual desire for you. And yes, you can learn that in the House of Swans. I'm actually uploading some master classes, especially the sex one, to the House of Swans. No man is out here looking for a wife. Okay, men that are devout, who fear God, have a religion, and they're governed by their relationship with God, will intentionally go out looking for a wife, as should all men. But the average guy is not out here looking for a wife. He's looking for various opportunities to have sexual pleasure. He wants to have it with you, and with you. But it's that one woman who knows how to trigger an emotional connection with a man in a way he wasn't expecting. And that's what Black Swans are able to do. That's what I teach you to do. He's got to be like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on here? You have to almost happen to him. And we know how to happen to men intentionally through all of the teachings and all of the courses and all of the one-to-one coaching that we do. A lot of you ladies think that a man should just come ready to let's see, what do we have here? What could be possible reason a man files for divorce, excluding cheating? He doesn't want to be there anymore? To be honest, men are not really divorce filing people. But I have had calls with men who are in really narcissistic relationships with women. There's a group of men that are highly sensitive. What that means is that they have, it's a genetic trait, first and foremost, but they're very sensitive to their feelings, which is not typical of most men. Men are hardly aware of their feelings half the time. But these men are highly sensitive and they meet women that are very narcissistic. I have heard things that will make your eyes water that women do to men that would break your heart. I don't know, one of my coaches is now a shrink. She's now a therapist. And we always chat and we always have this conversation. The amount of domestic abuse towards men, emotionally, physically, will blow your mind. So most men, I've seen men who've been beaten by their women. And not because the woman is bigger, but because they are volatile. And these men were raised by their mothers not to hit women. So they won't hit back, but they will incur a lot of damage. And then there's the emotional abuse. I've coached men who've gone through a lot of emotional abuse in marriage, a lot. I had this gentleman and, God, his wife did not sleep with him for like 10 to 15 years. And he didn't step out. He just did everything. I read every book. I didn't know what I did wrong, all the things. And that's okay. Marriages have gone for longer dry spells. It's not anything new to marriage. But then I spoke to the wife, and she was like, I know what he wants, and I'll never give it to him. And I usually work with one partner and kind of hear and kind of figure out, but I'd never met somebody who just had so much enjoyment in hurting somebody. So when I sit here and say I'm not speaking for men and I'm not speaking for women, I'm speaking for love and relationships. Because I have seen the dark side of womanhood. I have a lot of the things that we're out here saying is because we're ignorant, and I understand it's because you don't get to have conversations that I get to have. And these men are strong, powerful, God-fearing men who just want to do the right thing. I can tell you stories that I don't even want to get into because we don't even have time, about the level of abuse that some men take emotionally from women. Some women are wicked. FYI. And it's usually those men, and even those men don't want to leave. I've had situations with men that do not want to leave a toxic relationship. They're dying, but generally men don't leave marriage because marriage tends to be more useful to men in the way that it has been done, right? So, and also because the penalty of divorce is higher for men than it is for women, because by and large they're going to lose access to their kids, full-time access. They're going to usually lose the home. They're going to lose money. So the benefit of leaving a marriage for a man is just not worth it. So they usually stay. It's not because they're better humans. It's not because they're just more noble. Because I've heard it all before. Oh, 70% of women file for divorce. Oh, boo-hoo. Women are just so awful and just so terrible. No, it's because ultimately a man would have probably filed for divorce at the same rate if he knew he was going to come out of it with a similar outcome. And divorces just don't necessarily go well in favor of men unless they're very, very wealthy. Thank you. Hi, Han. What would you advise somebody who has been offered a second wife position? Guy takes care of her financially but isn't consistent with communication. I don't know what I'm supposed to say to that. This is down to whoever it is value system. What is your value system? What is your faith? What do your beliefs tell you? I've coached women who are Arab, who are wife number 5 of 7. So whilst my faith, my personal convictions, my personal faith tells me how to behave, and my convictions come from the word, I don't judge people who choose alternate lifestyles because their religions or their faiths or their culture accept it. Because I coach women internationally. I can't impose my culture onto everybody. So this woman, does she come from a culture of second, third, fourth wives? Was she raised in a polygamous relationship? Because if she wasn't, like this client I had, she wasn't raised that way. She was Western, fell in love with the guy, and became wife number 5. And so she was struggling. The struggle wasn't that she was wife number 5. It was that you were not raised in it. You have not been psychologically conditioned and wired to accept having sister wives and accept that you and your child will not be his only priority, and that his presence will not only be yours. So I can't tell anyone, take the offer, or don't take the offer. I want to know what their value system is and whether they're conditioned to live like that. And you're even saying that the man is inconsistent. So, what are you getting out of this? Exactly. I have school friends. And I'm Zimbabwean, British, and I have friends who are second wives. No, friends, as in schoolmates, who I know who are second wives. And, we don't have much in common at this point, but, that's a choice they made. So I'm not here to judge, In the last 5 years since COVID, I'm mostly men who were commitment phobic and don't want to marry. They're still single after 5 years. I have traveled 30 minutes. In the last 5 years, I mostly, okay. Men who were commitment phobic and don't want to marry. They're still single after many years. I've traveled 30 countries in my life. Sad. It's not sad if men don't want to be married. We have to accept that not everybody wants marriage. Marriage is not the ultimate goal for everyone. Commitment is something that is of great value to a woman because she gets protection, she gets provision, she gets for her and her offspring to be taken care of and nurtured. Commitment for a man is taking on responsibility, if he's doing it properly, obviously. So some men don't want the responsibility. Just like some people don't want to be mothers. It doesn't make them broken. It doesn't make them weird. They don't want the responsibility of being a parent. Or they've just never had the desire. So it's not sad. What is sad is that you've met too many of them. And if that is a pattern, if something keeps presenting itself to you, then it's a mirror. It's a mirror for you. There's something going on with you that it keeps coming up as a mirror. Why do they give false promises and future faking? Why to lead a woman when they don't have any intention to marry? Is playing with someone's emotion. Yes, it is. So what? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to go around the whole world hitting men on the shoulder? You, that guy who plays with women's emotions. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Start a campaign? You see, all of these things make us feel great being a victim, okay? I can be a victim. I can be Johnny's victim. And all these men, I can be their victim, but it doesn't still meet your needs. At the end of the day, you want a man who wants what you want, who shares your values, who is in alignment with you. But you're choosing to dwell on what you have zero control over. Yes, there are men out there who will tell you what you want to hear so they can get in your knickers. But there are men out there with a lot of integrity. There are men out there who are marrying women. There are men out there who are looking to move in straight lines, move in vertical lines. Plenty of them. But you don't get to meet them because you're on that vibrational frequency. You're on that victim time. You're on that, why do men do this? It's not right. It's not fair. That's the time you're on. So that's what you're going to get. We are no one's victim but our own. The one predator we have in life is the self. It's the untethered soul. You are your own worst enemy because you have parked to victim bay and nobody can move you from there. These men are trash. These men, you have chosen victimhood and nobody is moving you from victimhoodville. The world works best for you when the world around you is at fault. And we all know what happens to those people. We all know what happens to people who live their lives with everybody is the problem. And it's so easy to sell you on BS. That's why women who will not take responsibility and accountability for their lives, their heart, their choices, their vibrational frequency, end up making millionaires of losers and time wasters and popular people that just take their money and waste their time. So many viral relationship experts, they're going viral, got 4 million people on their page because they pandered to the victim mindset. I love that question. As someone in my 20s, how do I make the most of it? Not just wait on a man, but actually make the most of it and discovering myself. You've got to figure out what you want to create in your life and understand that you've got a very limited time span to do it. What do you soulfully want? What does your spirit want? What do you want out of life? If it's to be a mother and to be a wife, you've got a short time span to really create that. You've got maybe 25 years to create that in a way that potentially would be satisfying to you. If that's what you want, you can't be shamed out of that. A part of the system that we live in is to shame women out of wanting marriage and children. You can't be shamed out of that. And you better create a strategy for that, just as you would any career. That's just the truth. So it's not about I'm just going to stop focusing on men. What do you want? Because if you want a family and you're heterosexual and you want a family, you are going to have to interface with men. You're going to have to understand men. You're going to have to attract a man. You're going to have to get commitment out of a man, all of which are skills, tools. It's an art form. It's a skill. It's education. You're going to have to invest in that the way you would in any other career because that's what it takes at any age. But in your 20s, you're in a position to really position yourself because you are prime real estate. A 23-year-old Chengi and a 48-year-old Chengi are not the same. The 48-year-old Chengi has to bring 10 times as much as the 24-year-old Chengi. Because we're at different stages of life and there are things I can provide for a man that you can't, as in experience, knowledge, wisdom, all the things, a level of sexiness and confidence. But I can't be out here trying to give him a family of 4. You know what I mean? Or even 1. Not without some kind of medical intervention. So in your 20s, you are prime real estate. So you have to decide what you want and not let the world shame you. And if it's not that, if you do not want a family and you don't want children and it's genuinely not a desire of yours, go get a career. Figure out your purpose in life. And go do that. Because we're not sent here to get married. But you got to be honest about your truest desire. I've loved spending time with you, my darlings. But like I said, I won't be saving this live on here, but it will be on YouTube. And I've got to go to the House of Swans in a minute. So I will see you on Thursday and we will work through this list of all the things that I wish I knew in my 20s. Okay? We'll work through that and we will hopefully get to the end of that list. And I'll see you soon. Bye.